Good evening to you. Welcome tonight to an hour with Marina Davis. And for this time, she will sing live a song for us, and then I'll open up with a prayer, and then we go to our show tonight. But after our prayer, and then we start our show. Sis, go ahead and kick us off with a song, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, Lord, you first me. You know my way, even when I fail you, I know you love me. Your holy presence surrounding me in every season. I know you love me. Oh, I know you love me. At the cross I bow my knee, where your blood was shed for me. There's no greater love than this. You have overcome the grave. Glory fills the highest praise. What can separate me now from your love? Whoa.
Amen. Father, we come to you tonight. We invite your presence here. And we thank you for your love and your mercy. Bless our hour tonight. Bless Marina and her family and the whole entire club, and even our fans for joining us tonight. We love you. In Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Amen.
All right, tonight's show, welcome. I would like to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight, Marina Davis is here with us tonight. Okay, claps. Thank you for being here. But I promise you one thing. You're going to have a great time. There was so many things that she's going to share with us. I'm going to ask her some questions that she has no idea about it. But she is here, she's ready, she's a fighter, and she understands how to meet all the circumstances of life. She's been there. She's the one with the big platform, you know? She's the one. But she represented you as a Samoan. So therefore, you're welcome to our show tonight. You're going to have a great time, and then let's kick right back into it. Hello there. How you doing, sis?
Good evening, everybody. God is good. I'm doing great, thank you. It's been a really rough week with work and trying to fit everything into 24 hours a day, but God is good and He's faithful all the time.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what was the good thing about it? You came on tonight, and one of these nights that is unexpected. Something happened, right?
Yeah.
You know, we all know singer is not an easy thing to do. There's so much preparation. But we put that on the side, and let's talk about a little bit the violence that is affecting Samoa today. You know, thinking with you being the big name on the stage, you know, there's so many people that are husbands and wives,
Right.
The domestic violence is so high in Samoa. Would you please encourage them and talk about experience or anything that can help to stop this violence, please?
The greatest thing about relationship with God is that you get to learn the difference between covenant and contract, sort of thing. And when you learn the difference between covenant and contract, I've been so blessed in the last 6 months to really, really study on the difference between covenant and contract. So contract really is an agreement between man and man or man and woman, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's marriage. And marriage in itself is just a contract, right? And covenant, the only types of covenants that were made in the Bible was between God and Abraham, God and David, right? God and Jeremiah. Everybody had their own, God and Adam. There was there's 7 or 8 covenants depending on how you're looking at it, but they were made only between us and God. Somewhere along the line, this is a holy, agreement. It's a powerful agreement between us and God. It is binding for life. Even I love the words of that song where it says, what can separate me now from your love? So even in that covenant, nothing, even our own disobedience cannot separate us from God. So for instance, God never takes away His love. It's us that separate ourselves from God through sin and disobedience. Right? So, but nothing can separate us from the love of God because He stands to His covenant whether we do or not. Right? But absolutely. The contract, the marriage contract is where the trouble starts to come in, because the contract says, if you don't do your part, I don't have to do my part. If you fail it, then I don't have to do that for you. Whereas people are focusing so much on the contracts, right? The marriage, contract, instead of the covenant, the relationship between us and God. Because if this covenant is right, then every relationship is right. Where there's no peace in the family because of this covenant with God, God gives us the courage to go and make it right with our parents, with our brothers and sisters, even if they don't reciprocate it. At least we've made it right, the covenant in our covenant. But what happens in the marriage is that there's a thing called the ego in the brain, right? And it's in a part of the brain called the amygdala, right? And the amygdala is so powerful that it actually, when your husband does something once or twice and then you go, you always do that. The amygdala convinces you that something's wrong when it's not. And it convinces you that you don't need to talk things out if I just show, this
absolutely.
Because we don't know ourselves. We don't get to know the yes?
Yeah, in a way, it seems like I do believe our Samoan couples today, right? I think they really, really do need some counseling, professional counseling. Because,
I need counseling.
Right? So do I, right? Because it seems like the violence will start taking over and overruled, what the wife and the husband supposed to have in common. And that is very, very sad thing, As a celebrity, you see this pattern over and over everywhere you go, and you heard about it. But now our Samoan people is affected by it. And a lot of people blaming it because it's the COVID-19. Talk a little bit, giving an advice to
All
this,
right.
to these couples, please.
Yeah, during the thing is that it goes back to our upbringing as well, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know, no one goes into marriage thinking I'm going to beat up my wife every day, I'm going to beat up my husband every day, because it's reciprocal. There's no such thing as only men are beating up women. I've seen it with my own eyes, women beating up men, sort of thing.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so I know that does exist, and we never want to diminish anyone's pain or trauma, because it's very
Yes.
real. Trauma stays with us, until we deal with it. But one of the great things that I've seen is that when it does come down to how we intentionally go into marriage, it's when we stop doing the things that ignite love between us. That's when we go, okay, well, that's when the thoughts come in, oh well, he's giving that to someone else, sort of thing. I know in my own marriage, I get a lot of male attention because of the way that I look, and also because of my talent. If I had a jealous husband who was
Right.
always in there saying, why are you going out? He doesn't do that. He never withholds my gift. He always supports it, regardless of the attention, because he trusts me.
Right.
Do you know-
Absolutely.
Because I don't open the door.
Right.
And so that's one of the things, being a somewhat celebrity or known in our community. One of the challenges that me and my husband have faced is the amount of attention that I get, sort of thing. And the way that I reason with it is that, number one, it's not my gift, so it's all God's. And
Right.
I am nothing without my fans. What am I without the people that listen to my music? But there have been times, like, I've had stalkers and things like that, and we've had to take, restraining orders out and stuff like that. That's just a part of doing what we do, but it doesn't stop me from continuing to serve and love in
That's
the way
right.
that we're meant to. But when it comes to husbands and wives, I really do believe that the ego plays a big part. And remember, if we grow up seeing our mum and our dad beating each other up, we do that too.
Absolutely.
It's that simple. And it takes practice. It took me 18 months to really practice not being nasty to my husband. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because I came from a home where my mum was the boss, sort
Right.
of thing. She was the ran the show, and so I thought I could do that. And he's a very strong, godly man, and he would say to me, what? No, we don't talk like that to each other. You don't need to yell at me. What? Sort of thing. And I was like, but that's how I was raised, sort of thing, and I'm okay, sort of
Yeah.
thing. But the thing is that, all of those things I had to practice doing something different. And we give up practicing doing the right things because it's too hard. You know what? It's actually harder, and it actually makes you sick faster to be angry and hurt all the time. Healing is actually the easier option.
That's right.
But we don't educate ourselves.
That's right. Makes a lot of sense. You know what? I love the fact that how you touch on these points that in relationships, right? And now we're looking
Yes.
at the other part of the relationship. Nowadays we can see parents, as soon as they see their daughter pregnant, okay, come on, let's go get married. Let's go. It's time to marry them, right?
Right.
But
Right.
they need to walk them through the process, how to be loved and how to come together as one. Because I really do, I do think that most of this problem is we just toss them into the hole. You know what? You go ahead. You can make it right. You can, things
Right.
like that. But that's what I always said to myself. A professional counseling for these young marrieds and even the adults. Anyone. It's must
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah.
Let's say that if this is your cup of tea now, you have to deal with these circumstances and these things
Yeah.
are going on now. What is Marina Davis' best advice to lead and to be able to encourage these couples how to love once again?
My best advice really is, from my own experience, which is
Right.
communication. Communicate. The key is not communication, because the way we treat people speaks more than how we speak to them. Like, it really does. The way that we respect our partners, the way that we uplift them and one time I was at a party. We were at a function, and this man just comes up to me and he goes, "Excuse me, are you Paul's wife?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And then he said, "I just had to come and meet the lady that guy over there can't stop talking about. He's just uplifting you, and you're just, do you know what I mean?" And I said, "Wow, amazing." So for me, it proved to me that we've got to be the same in their absence as we are in their presence, sort of thing, behind and in front, But one of the things I've learned in my marriage, because I'm the type of person that's all in. I'm all in. My husband, he's just like, "You should just know I love you. I don't need to show you," sort of thing. We're different personalities in that way. So how do we navigate that? Because I've really felt that in 20 years, I've communicated every single.
There you go.
Say I want ABC, and you give me H and S and X and T. I didn't ask for those. Ask for this, So how do you navigate through that? I really believe that it's not actually communication, because the way we treat people is communication. The key is reciprocation. Meaning that what I give you, just show the same effort. Give the same effort. Right? Because, and this is what I don't understand about men, Pastor, and excuse me if I'm offending the men out there. I'm not worried, because some of you need to hear this. But why give up the chase, the pursuit of your wife's heart when you get married? Why? Because women we are all-in creatures. We love you 100%. You show us the love and respect. Actually, women love me regardless of whether we get shown the love and respect. If we love you with regardless of how you treat us. That's the truth. No matter all this women power saying, "Oh, you got to get a man that does this." No, I'm sorry. Women are the type of, and especially Polynesian women, we're raised to stay in marriages whether they work or not. Sort of thing.
That's powerful.
With a happy.
That's
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Another thing that it came out to all this relationship that has been broken, right? Most of the time I hear people will say, I don't know if you agree with this. This says, every time my wife or my husband makes me mad, I'll go get a 12-pack of alcohol and drink it so I can calm down. So to me, it took me a while to figure this one out. So do you believe this is the beginning of the giving up on the relationship, to get drunk and not to go and fix the problem?
Oh yeah, Pastor. One of the things that I do for my work as a teacher, as a vocal teacher, is I learn a lot about the brain, and I love learning about it because, see, what you've just said there is a trauma path, right? So that means when we were kids, we were traumatized. Somehow we were either beaten up by our parents, we were sexually abused, whatever it was that happened to us as a child, right? So then what happens is that as adults, and all those feelings of fear and doubt and shame and disgust, all of those things, it stays in our body, and it stays in the amygdala in the brain. Because remember, the amygdala is like a filing cabinet in the brain. It stores all of our emotions and our feelings, our fears, and our memories, right? So if we think about it, so then as an adult, when your wife makes you feel insecure, gross, or like unloved or unwanted, what are you going to do? Going to go back to it. Triggers an emotional response in the brain to go back to react as if you were that child.
Absolutely.
So that's why in relationships and marriages, men tend to stay boys. They don't man up. They don't grow up. And so us women are trying to raise another son because he cannot understand his pattern. So I love what the word says. We are what we think. What so a man thinks, so he is. So if you stay on that path of, okay, I've been offended, my wife offended me, she made me feel like less of a man, then I'm going to go and get a six-pack. Do you know that that's a pattern in the brain that you can undo? It's undoable. It's rewirable, meaning that we can rewire ourselves to change a different habit. Remember when I told you that it took me 18 months to stop swearing and talking back to my husband? It's because that's all I knew. Before that, I would walk over every guy that I was in a relationship with, because such a strong personality. This was the first man that said to me, "Don't treat me like that. I'm better than that." Sort of thing. And for some, sorry?
That's right. You're right about that, right?
Yeah.
Because arguments, sometimes we don't know how to push back, and we don't know how to control that at times. We always
Right.
thinking ourselves, selfish.
Yeah.
Start coming up at time. And that's one of the killer. That's the worst
Mm.
enemy that anybody can
Yep.
be able to deal with,
Yep.
right?
And for 18 months, Pastor, all I could do was, when he upset me, no longer, like, I taught myself, don't scream and yell. I was, my husband would say, "Bea se sainga ele kai mea ki kai ke rei loleng nga 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 ke nga." He'd be like, because he goes, "This is you, Marina, when you're angry." Like this, he goes, "What is that language?" Do you know what I mean? And I'm being very honest and very transparent and very vulnerable here, because I don't believe we should share from fake experiences. I think we should share, and it encourages everybody else when we're sharing from our own true experiences. I was awful.
Right.
Awful wife. And it took me 18 months to learn to go, hey, when I
Right.
want to things. And it wasn't easy, but that's how long it takes to rewire the mind, and it's
Right.
doable. It's not something we dreamed up. It's science. Science only backs up what the word says. Science proves the word is right.
The word is
That
right.
what
Yeah.
a thinks, so he is. And so I wanted to be a great wife, and my husband, my kids will testify. Right now, nothing really rattles my peace.
Right.
All the things that me about him doesn't get to me anymore, sort of thing. And to be honest, he doesn't do it as much because he's learned that that's what annoys me. So it's that teamwork,
Absolutely, right?
you
Yeah.
know. But it takes practice. Anything you want to be good at, we
Right.
have
Yeah.
practice. You want to be a good Christian? Don't just practice it in front of your pastor. You got to practice it at home with your kids.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know what? Trying to hold back in the time that when anchor is boiling up, right?
Yeah.
It is so difficult, right? Even
Yes.
myself, I love the advice that you give. Hush, just
Yeah.
just hold yourself back, right?
It was hard.
And then and now we look at nowadays. Now they hold themselves back, and now the hands are coming out. The silence of that action, it's more
Right.
dangerous than the words that come out.
Right.
And now we look in our Samoan families, American
Yeah.
Samoa and Western Samoa and Samoa. It's a chaos. It's
Wow.
almost every day. Almost
Yeah.
every day, a wife or a husband got into a fight, or teenagers are getting into a fight, getting drunk.
Right.
It's a mess. If
The root of-
if
Yeah.
that's the case, why is someone, or acting a way like this? Do you think the alcoholic have a lot of thing to do with it, or the drugs nowadays?
Yeah, if we look at it this way,
Mm.
the violence and the alcoholism, right?
Right.
The violence, domestic violence, is
Mm.
all just the fruit of a different root, right? It's all just
Absolutely.
fruit
Yeah.
that have come in. But the root of that is ego and lack of relationship with God.
Mm.
That's the
Absolutely.
answer. That's literally the answer. Imagine our nation going back to our anthem, Vai Ile Tua.
That's
Imagine a nation that goes back to loving God that way. How different. And this is not airy fairy. This is the truth. This is how God called us to be, to have
Right.
relationship with Him, because relationship with Him, it severs all of our dependence on our ego, and
Right.
it severs it completely wipes out our dependence on being
Right.
validated
Yeah.
by anything other than
Uh-huh.
God. And so I think it's also a lack of identity, because even the music that I hear coming from the young ones in Samoa is, want to be American rapper, want to be do you know what I mean? Instead of we have our own sound too.
Right.
We got to use that sound as well. So, and then the lyrics, some of these lyrics, I'm like, that's not our culture. We don't speak like that,
Right.
And so for me, I think the violence and all of that is the fruit of a deeper root, and the root of the problem is the ego is alive in our
Yes.
people. We're whikamaka. We want people to know that we're the tough one, we're the strong one. When everybody knows that the only way to the top is to humble yourself.
Humble yourself. Yes.
Absolutely.
It is amazing, because sitting here talking with you about this very, very special issue that is affecting a lot of young couples and even families. Now families are getting into it. right?
Mm.
And not everybody is blindfolded by the one story instead of a two story. I don't
Right.
mean to be sound like gossiping about it, but
Yeah.
it's the reality that we see it. For
Yeah.
us, especially you that you're on a big platform, that you perform and you see this happen. You know, I really do believe the Samoa needs to hear your voice in this matter
Thank
because
you.
a lot of celebrities of Samoa, you know, like you included, they need to say
Mm.
something about this.
Yeah.
That would be so awesome. That'll help. I do believe that'll help. Helps a
Yeah.
lot. You know. And then here comes my question about, what happened now.
Mm.
Would you see Samoa in a different format in the next 10 years
Mm.
from domestic violence if we have professional counselors?
Oh, 100%. And that's the thing about our people, eh? They
Yeah.
don't. There's such a shame on asking for help.
Mm.
There's such a shame on going for counseling. I've been to counseling. I had a massive betrayal in my life. When I was about 26 or so, my best friend at the time betrayed me,
Wow.
and in a really, really big way. And I had loved this girl so much. No, actually, sorry, I was about 30. I had loved this girl so much that I actually needed to go to counseling to get over her, sort of
Right.
thing.
Right.
I found out she wasn't the friend that she was making herself out to be to me,
Mm.
and she was lying about me to all these people, and all of my personal business I shared with her, she went and told everybody, sort of thing.
Mm.
And I was so embarrassed and I was so hurt, and I was like, you know what? Stuff her, don't care about her. But it wasn't until about 3 months later, I'm reading a book in bed,
Mm.
and all of a sudden I just go, I just start crying. Just start
Oh.
crying out of nowhere. My husband's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I said,
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm crying. And the more I felt what I was feeling, I realized I was grieving her,
Mm.
and that's
Yeah.
when I knew the hurt was deeper than I had made it out to be. So I booked myself, I went to the doctor and I said, I'm having a really hard time dealing with this, because here in Australia, they offer you really great discounts on counseling if you go
Right.
to your doctor. So I went to
Mm.
and he gave me, a referral slip, and I went to see this lady. And to be honest, the word did more for me than because what she was saying just matched up with what God was saying, sort of. And so I realized, that the word is true. My help does come from the hills, sort of
That's
thing.
right. You know,
Funny.
and you're right. Samoan people is known for ema, efisili.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have esela lema. I saw ili fisili. Yeah.
That's
Go
right.
you know what? Something will happen in a good way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yes.
Just as Samoans, we're thinking that we live in the island, we can solve our own problem. It's
Yeah.
good too to invite the outsider to come give us an uplift, to
Right.
help us out. Because
Right.
and you know what? It's not only in Samoa, even Samoans in the United States, New Zealand, Australia.
Right.
It what happened? Somehow, it just escalated to the fact that the brain is going numb.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You know,
It's ego.
that's what it is.
The,
Yeah,
the ego doesn't want to ask for help,
right.
and I find it in myself too, when just asking for things that we need, even as wives,
Mm.
I find it really hard to say, honey, can you plan something for us, sort of thing. So because I'm thinking, in my mind, I sound like I'm
Mm.
asking for too much, sort of thing.
Right.
And so asking for help now has become such a easy
That's right.
thing, because I
Absolutely.
know here without the help that I got.
Absolutely. You know what?
Mm.
It's always good to ask for help and seek help and receive help, right?
That's right.
And
That's right.
I love the fact that we have the chance to talk about this subject tonight. Now we're looking at the young couples that are preparing themselves to become husband and wife,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is another pattern that I see. It's as soon as they met for like 2 or 3 months later, okay,
Right.
it's time to put the ring on the finger, right? And if
Oh,
you really love me, put the ring on it, right? Hey,
right,
put
right.
the ring on it, right? But
Yeah.
what happened to walking them through the process for 6 or 8
Right.
weeks so they can
Yeah.
be able to understand, right?
Right.
Sister, let it go to advice. Give them an advice for young couples that they think they're ready for marriage without walking through the process. Give yourself time so they can become a good parents in the future.
Right. I love what Proverbs says about do not awaken, or is it Song of Songs, where it says, do not awaken love until it so desires, sort of thing. I love that scripture. I always teach my girls, because I've got 4 teenage girls. I always teach them, hey, don't guard your heart. It's too late. By the time he's in your heart,
Yes.
he's already here, guard your ears. Because, Pastor, I'm just going to get really raw right now, if that's all right.
Right.
Because I just hope that the viewers give me permission to, but I want to speak on a really, really real level, right?
That's right.
The fact is that women and men are different, right? Women equate sex with love, right? If someone's had sex with us, they love us. Men don't. It's just sex. So in order for us to be able to understand, this is why I tell my girls, guard your ears, because no one is nicer, Pastor. Like, even as a young woman, I was single, no one is nicer, no one's more generous, no one's more loving, no one wants your time, no one wants to spend than a guy who hasn't been in your pants, sort of thing.
Absolutely.
This is why I tell. So don't guard your heart, ladies, young women out there. Don't guard your heart, single mothers who've just divorced. Don't guard your heart. Don't guard your body. Man
Good
has
advice.
to go through
That's a good.
right, sort of thing. And I think it's just, we've set the standards so low because of lack of relationship with God.
Right.
That's really what it is. If we had that relationship with God, we would know what our identity as a daughter and a son of the King is, which means that we would uphold ourselves to a different standard. And that standard really is love. And we would identify someone who doesn't love us quicker than having to go through the process of years of figuring out. And this is what I figured out too as a young person when I was, dating, was that really you can't count on calling yourself in love for the first 2 years, because really sometimes, and I'm being honest, sometimes you're just in love with the sex. You're just in love with the way that person makes you feel in the bed. You're not in love with that person.
Right.
Does that make sense?
That
Sometimes
makes sense.
you're just in love, with that part of the process. And we're jumping into sex before we're jumping into relationship or courtship, sort of thing.
Right.
And that's totally normal these days. Look at Tinder, look at Grindr, all of these apps that find instant gratification instead of actually figuring out what we want. And to be honest, if that's what you want, that's what you want. That's up to you. I'm not judging you. Go for it. That's your relationship with God. That's not mine. But in the sense where we really want commitment.
Right.
Sorry about that. Someone was calling me. In the sense where we really are wanting commitment from someone, right? And we absolutely need to understand that we have to know that when someone's after us only for one thing, and be okay with ending it if it doesn't fulfill us too. If a guy's not giving you the attention that you think you deserve, or that you think, or he's not reciprocating the amount of love and attention, girl, he's not that into you. Right?
Right. Absolutely. You know what? Let's play a song, right? Let's take a break. When we come back, we're gonna shift gears to the politics. What politics is affecting our Samoan people even today when the election is approaching. And she will give a good advice for all the voters and whoever, not only United States, Australia, but Samoan people. So we're going to play a song. And then after that, when we come back, we're going to put her in the bus with the politician. We're going to have a great one, right? All right, we'll be right back in 2 and 2. All right, welcome back with an hour with Marina Davis. I want you to know this. If it's your first time to join our live with Marina Davis, before she introduces herself, let me introduce it to you. She's the very, very well-known singer of Samoa. She knows how Samoan people feels when they come to days like this. There's only a couple questions I'm going to ask her about how she's going to look at the politics in the Samoa, how to advise the voters and the people to be fair and not to fight. And then after that, we're going to close it out with her talents of teaching, because that's her specialty. Okay, sister, in a couple of months now, I think 4 months maybe, and then Samoa will close out their votes, and this is the busiest time of campaigns and all the stuff is going on in Samoa. But okay, put the campaign on the side. What you going to advise the voters, the Samoan people, because there's a lot of fights between these ballots every single year, right?
Yes, my opinion might not be a very popular opinion, and the reason being is because I do believe in people power. I believe that God has given the people the power, and really we can, all
Right.
as someone, if we really want to take something, we rally together and do it. But I think, our government says that it's a democracy, but really, is it? Is there really any hope in changing the government with the way that it's set up? With even us who live on the outside of Samoa, we can see how much corruption or interruption there is in the government. So my thing is, I always believe in people power. If we really wanted to make a difference, I think we'd have to do it a little bit differently than elections, because I have no it's not that I have no hope, it's just I don't think that in a system where really one person is in power for the rest of their life, that's not a democracy,
Right.
and so I pray all the best, and I wish all the best to to the actual parties that have the people in mind. When a government doesn't have their people in mind, and the betterment of their people in mind, it's the people that suffer.
Right.
Not
Absolutely.
at the top.
That's right.
So my opinion on that is people power. If we do a movement, and this is the thing, even I've been working with an organization here, Samoa, who have been trying to sign the petition to get the old courthouse saved as a museum, to preserve our history, and to preserve, our lineage in a way. And again, we would, the government just shut that down. They passed
Right.
laws and bills in their own favor. So how is that a democracy?
Right. That's tough.
Oh. And I have no experience. No, I'm not an expert in any of these things. This is why, I keep my opinion as top level as possible. I don't want to go deep because I don't know all the facts.
Right.
But from, yeah.
That's wonderful. It's still a good advice. Okay, now we're looking at the charity, right? You helping out a lot, and I hope you don't mind me put this on the air. I did my research and I look again. You're doing a lot of things about the community in Australia.
Love it.
A lot. Explain. I want you to tell the people what you do on your free days, Or who do you
Okay.
help, and what are you doing in a week on the weekends?
Right. Okay. So, I just look to the example of all the great men and women of God. For instance, Deborah was a judge, sort of thing.
Mm.
She was a judge. She had an outside job, and then in her other time, she served the Lord in her job, but also outside of the Lord, outside of her job, she was such a great leader, such a great
Wow.
influencer,
Okay.
sort of thing. I look at Paul. You know what I mean? He was a tent maker, right?
Right.
And he had an outside because I don't believe in paying for the gospel. I don't believe in paying for servanthood, sort of thing. So how I serve in my ministry of teaching people how to sing, that's how I got paid. That's how
Mm.
I get paid. But
That's
when
right.
I'm so blessed in that ministry that I can give a lot of my time. I'm so blessed in that ministry that I can give a lot of my time and a
Mm.
lot of my effort and a lot of my heart to the causes that are close to my heart, which is the Cancer Foundation and also the Red Nose Foundation. We're organizing a fundraiser at the moment,
Right.
100 ticket to be able to come. And, with these restrictions, no one can even dance. So it's on me to make sure that the entertainment is amazing. So I'm entertainers and dancers, the kapahaka groups, all the things that and stay awake for 3 to 4 hours because you can't get up and dance.
Right.
So I'm helping with the organization of that, and I just think that where we are in our jobs and in our giftings, that's where we make our money. But when it comes to giving to the community, my real passion is homelessness and young kids. So
Wow.
my business, like even with my kids, we do things privately. I'm telling you, Pastor, what you've researched and what you found, that's nothing compared to what we do privately, because I believe in private giving.
Absolutely.
My mom taught me that.
I
My
can't
mom
get to
taught me,
that.
don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing. I get so annoyed and disgusted when I see people
Mm.
going out and giving food to the homeless, and then they're posting about it.
Right.
Look at me. That's just me, because I wasn't taught like that. I was raised to not let your right hand know what your left hand is doing, because God knows and God sees.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is one of the questions that somebody asked you about your background as a high schooler, right? And
Oh,
this is very interesting. These are one of the 6 points that you answer on this question. And the question was this: what advice would you give to JCHS students that attribute your success? And then you
yeah,
answered, I have 6 pieces of advice.
yeah,
Number one, I think the number one is the one that set the whole key on this one. You say, dreams stay just dreams if you don't do the work. That is powerful. Now, I didn't, that was that's one of the background, your background, and I went digging into it to dig it more, so to know more about you. And the number
yeah.
two, this is what you say: you don't know any or everything, right?
Yeah.
Always be willing to ask for help and take advice from people that you have seen or do achieve what you want to
Wow.
achieve, right? This is you
Wow.
answering. This is your answers. The number three, you said, don't listen to anybody who hasn't succeeded in anything. I was laughing when I read that. I think that one took the mark, right? Everyone wants to give you their input, yet they aren't qualified to advise you. You know what? That was, you know what? That's fair enough for me. The number
Yeah.
four, this is what you said: feel that fear. It is a blessing and it keeps you humble. So feel the
Wow.
fear and learn to understand yourself so you can understand why you are scared, right? Number five, you said, have fun and love the lessons you will learn about yourself and others. Great. And this
Did
is the
they
last
say
one.
all that?
Yeah, you did. You say all this. And then the number six, you said, the most important one: never, never forget your parents. Your family
Oh,
are the only ones you have your back.
Yeah.
Take care of them first before you take care of anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's teaching. That's teaching. That's motivation, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
uplifting. That's a square form for me. Because you are such a great teacher of what you're doing in your music career, right?
Thank you.
And look at the young ones today, okay? And some of our audience that are here tonight, they don't know about what you do for a living today. Even the COVID-19 is still on. Let's talk about a little bit more about your teaching career and how God blessed you with this.
Yes. As a business owner, the only business partner that you really should be looking to have is the Holy Spirit, because I can promise you this. I sound smart, but I'm not. I'm not a very, I didn't do well I didn't finish high school. I was traveling all over the world singing. Before I was even 18 years old, before I was even 16 years old, we were traveling the world singing. And, so I'm a high school dropout. I am a failure. I'm a loser. I've done all these things in my life I've made choices. I've been offered $1 million contracts and sabotaged it because I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think my voice was good enough. I didn't think my body was good enough. I didn't think I had what it took,
Right.
And all of that. And I made the excuse. I got offered $250,000 weight loss, payment to be able to promote a weight loss brand if I just lost 20 kilos. And I lost the 20 kilos. And then when I realized, because they showed me the marketing that they were going to do, they showed me a life-size cutout of me, right? And they were going to put it in every Woolworths, which is like a big, it's like a Walmart, but with only groceries. It's that big, the big retailer here. It's a big shopping center, and there's Coles as well, which is their competition. So what happened was that they had offered me $250,000 to lose 20 kilos, and a cardboard cutout of me would be in every Coles and Woolworths store in Australia. So that would have taken my recognizability, which is great for branding, from nothing to I'm everywhere. Guess what I did? I went and I sabotaged myself. I gave the money back, and I went and I gained all the weight back because I didn't think I was good enough, and I didn't understand that fear of failure and fear of success even that was in my head. So as I got older, I was so fortunate to start teaching, and because I was teaching, I passionate about learning how my brain works. So then I started to understand that actually the key to success is really just obedience. It really is.
Right.
We're not smart enough to come up with all these ideas, sort of thing. But God would put that vision and that idea in your head. So that means it's already happened because remember, God doesn't live in time. It's already happened. But what we need to do is do the work to get it,
That's right.
And so one of the that actually God told me to do, and I didn't even know anything about it, was a system called funneling, funnel systems, which means that I can put up an ad, they click on the ad, they click yes or no. Every time they click something, it goes to another offer according to what they've clicked, right? So you're funneling here, funneling them there, right? And then you funnel them to your sales page, whatever that is. God put that idea in my head, and I didn't even know what that was. And then over time, I started to see that there were companies offering this kind of system. I had no idea this existed. This is how I know the Holy Spirit is my business partner, because I'm too dumb to run a business, sort of thing. And so now, after 6 months of automating my business, I was doing it all the hard way, responding to emails myself. I was booking the appointments myself. I was taking the payments myself. Now all payments, emails, booking appointments, that's all done online. It's all automated. And because of that, I've reduced my work week from 60 hours a week to 15, 20 hours a week, and I make 5-6 times more, right?
Wow.
And the only reason why I can do that is because I spent the time and I did the work, and I spent the money to put the systems in place so that my business can run itself. And all I have to do is focus on my customers, sort of thing. All I had to do is turn up with a passionate, with a strong teacher's heart, and I do.
Wow.
I tell myself off. I abuse them. No, just joking. I threaten them. I say to them, I know you're in London, but I have a special jandal that if I throw outside the window, it'll end up on your head wherever you are. Just to threaten them to get them where I need to be. But you know what? Through learning how the brain works, I've been able to simplify the process of singing in the body, so that people learn how to have their best voice, their strongest, no pain, no strain in the throat, over 26 weeks instead of 6 years somewhere else. And this is why, again, this system, this technique, God gave it to me. I have no idea anything about the voice, and everything that he showed me, when I somehow see even the amygdala and the hippocampus, I didn't even know what that was in the brain until I knew what it was doing in my head. But then I saw a documentary on the brain, and I realized that's what the names of these things were. And so I just studied it even more. So if you don't do the work, because my motto in my business, my motto in life is if it's meant to be, it's up to me. Because God already gave you permission. Why are we waiting for everyone else to validate us, to validate our dreams? If it's meant to be, it's up to me, because God already gave you the mission.
That's right.
He already gave you the gifting, the talent.
That's
and
right.
here you are. Here I was waiting for someone to discover me.
Right.
Sort of thing. All I had to do was do the work. So that's it.
It's you put it in a way that everybody can relate it to you, right? And it is so clear that teaching is your gift.
Oh, wow.
God.
Thank you.
Because your teaching goes with your singing, and your singing that comes with your message, and your message inspiring so many people. When I first heard you singing the song Leta Walanga Solomona, at first I go, oh, who is that? I thought it was Lole at first, right? And I go, oh, wait a minute. No, does not sound like Lole. Right? And then when I listen again, I go, Marina Davis, and I have no idea who this person is. So then I finally got to listen to deeper and deeper. Your voice does deliver what it means to that song. It's all bringing the piece together, right? For this whole 4 weeks that we've been talking on live, I put together a little bit of things that describes of who you are. My own way, to listen to how you describe yourself. It was learning, you're memorizing your stuff, the recording, rehearsing, and performing of every single step. You own it, and there's no doubt about it. And there's nobody's going to take that away from you. And you know what? You transform that with your actions, and your actions does speak a lot louder than the actions of what people see from outside. You're doing a great job. Trust me. You're doing a great job. I love listening to it. I follow you on the Twitter, and you also put on the Twitter, you know what? Look, come on up. 26 weeks. I can teach you how to sing. That's all that matters, right? And it's fun. I share that to The Rock. So I'm waiting for The Rock to reply back on that. And I think David Tua say something about it. I think he get a thumbs up, but let me go back and check on that. I think it's fun. But here it is, there's a lot of sound. Go ahead.
Pastor, one of the greatest revelations that set me free, set my spirit free to just live the way that God intended me to live and to really flourish in my gifting is the fact that when Moses was, with the burning bush, and he said to God, well, what should I tell them is your name? Sort of thing. Right. What should I tell them is your name? And God says, tell them that I am that I am. Sort of thing. Tell them that I am that I am.
That's right.
And a few years ago, I had that revelation. I am that I am who God made me to be.
Wow.
I am that I am who, this gifting, it's not mine. This talent, it's not mine. And I am that I am so that I can be who God has designed me to be. And I'm going to live in it. And I'm not going to be ashamed of it. I'm not going to hold it back, because this is what shame has done to us. This is what, this is what fear has done to us. It's kept us below. It's kept us the tail instead of the head, And so this is why I'm so passionate about teaching people how to rise up to who you are, because you are that you are. You
That's
know,
right.
you are who God made you to be, and live in it, flourish in it, you know.
Right.
And we all know the difference between, you know, oh yeah, I am that I'm abusive and I can keep being that way. No, it's not. That's actually not how God wanted us to be. God never wanted us to be idiots. He intended us to have the best, to flourish in life. And
That's
yet we turn away from that. We're the ones that don't want that, because we action our ego instead of actioning our humility.
That's
You know,
right.
so that's why, like, I feel like that's what's opened the door to my blessing in my life, is that I am that I am. I don't care what people think about me. I do. I care what my mom thinks about me. I care what my kids think about me. But when it comes to knowing who I am in God, it's not an arrogance. It's an I am. I just know.
That's
You know,
right.
and you know too.
That's right.
Everybody that's knows. You
That's
know.
right.
You're
You're
just
absolutely right. You know,
don't fear.
you know, it is amazing that I mentioned this the first time that we come on live, and your charisma is so great. You know, and
Aw.
every single way that you turn regarding your performance, you always maintain the appropriate physical appearance, right?
Oh,
And the
thank
stamina
you.
that needed to perform. And you doing that very, very well. Not too
Thank
many
you.
singers will have that. You know, it's not too
Right.
many singers. Because some of the singers, they only wants to sing. You know, they only sing, you know, and they don't teach. And if they
Right.
do teach, it's different. But some other ones, they can teach, but they cannot sing. You know, and
Right.
it's amazing. You know, yeah. Yeah. So, and that, you know, and it, because we're coming to the end of our program tonight, you know, for the coaching, you know, would you please and share one more time
Yeah.
about your
Absolutely.
coaching with our audience tonight? Because some of the audience that join us tonight, they're new to us. You know,
Yes.
would you please share a little bit about coaching again, so the
Yes.
people can hear? Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm going to teach you today how to reach the high notes really easily. Okay. So there are hundreds of ways that you can do this. Okay. But I adopt a technique which I call the hissing cat. Okay. And the reason why I call it that is because when you push the air forward behind the nose, the tongue goes up and you sound like this. Right? It looks
Right.
stupid. Get nothing here.
Uh-uh.
That's it. So
Oh, you got it.
I don't want you to do anything to the front of the tongue, because the front of the tongue needs to stay, because you can't talk without the front of your tongue. So it's just the back of the tongue. And if you smile when you're hissing when you're throwing your air forward, and I want you to aim for here. Okay, so I don't want you to go out, I want you to go up. Okay, do that for me
Okay.
at home.
Wait.
That's it. So that's it.
Okay.
So when you do,
That's different. Yeah.
don't hurt the mic. So then I want you to feel how far forward your tongue, the back of your tongue has come. So that puts your tongue in a safe position to guard and protect your vocal cords. So a lot of people, you will hear them, they will sing like this. Okay, so now behold the precious Lamb of God. Right? If you sing like that, girl, get in touch. I can help you. Okay. So what's happening is that because you're singing from your throat, your vocal cords are meant to sit nicely together. If you think about it, these are your vocal cords. They're meant to sit nicely together like this. When you sing from your throat, they go, the precious Lamb. Right?
Right.
Okay. We don't want that. Say, the precious Lamb of God. Right? So nice and high. And I can't tell you how many students come to me who can't sing high at all. And then after learning the technique, after 8, 9, 10 sessions, they can hit the notes strong, powerfully. That they're not doing that, falsetto, vibrato voice. We're just, the precious Lamb. Because they're too scared that their voice is going to crack. There's so much confidence because I teach you the right technique and the right positioning of your tongue to be able to keep your vocal cords together,
Right.
So that's why it's really important to get a good technique, no matter what your singing level is. I've got students who've never sung before. I've got students who are professional singers who do this week in, week out, and it doesn't matter, because no matter, even the best singers are actually the worst singers, because they're doing the worst technique. There's so much singing to doing it wrong. So I had to take more time to undo the bad habits that they've done, you know. But I can help you with that. I can help you to train you to teach a new pattern to the brain to keep the vocal cords nice together. Easy. It's actually really easy. I can't believe how well my students are doing this group. Oh,
Wow.
It's all. I know that.
You know, one day a little Marina is going to come out from that group, because you're doing a great and a fantastic job. How you coach these kids how to sing and how to understand who they are, you know, and you get them ready to perform in their own time is to come. You know, that's it's very, very powerful. Ty, do you have anything? Yeah. You know what? I think that's one of the key elements that what you have. You have patience. You have patience to deal with these young ones, because I'm telling you, dealing with young ones, trying to teach them how to do anything, I don't think that's me. No. You know.
Right.
But I'm going to leave that to you. You know, you can teach them and lead them and to fulfill their dreams to become who they are, you know.
Thank you.
Because you're doing a fantastic job. You know, I'll tell you what, you're doing amazing. You know, I just want to thank you for coming on tonight. You know, and even you put yourself out there just to help the Samoan community and even the whole wide world. You know, we're so happy that to see you out there and to be able to do things that you can do now. Continue on to do what you do best. You know, the world will come with judgment, but you come with grace. You stay with grace, you're going to be do very, very well. You know,
just one thing I want to hear from her. I want to hear any number from Shania Twain before we close.
Oh.
It only hurts when I breathe. Do you have one? From this, not from this moment. What's that one? You know, still the one.
Still the one. There you go. Yeah. So,
what about if Pastor Sam and myself will sing a song and then you tell us, teach us? I think that's the best way. You sing a song.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the song? Are we gonna sing Fafitaile Tour?
Yes. Yes.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. How was that?
I loved it. You know what? I can see your voice. You know, because there's a hint of hesitation in your voice. Remember, your voice is the first thing that people pick up, other than your face, right? So, hi, my name's Marina. You know, sort of thing. That kind of hesitation. So I want you to take a deep breath, like as if someone gave you a fright. So, boom, right? And then I want you to go, amen, and I want you to push that out and stabilize the voice so it's nice and strong and straight. And
sounds good.
Go ahead, Sam.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Amazing
So you got to have a
grace, how sweet that sound.
Because as Samoans, we have a natural vibrato. Amen. You know, some people I've heard sound just like a goat. You know, sort of thing. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with any of those. But you want to be able to control it so you can sing straight if you want to as well. Amazing grace, amazing. You want to. The core of my technique is you control your voice. You get what you want from your voice, not it controls you, right? So your breath and the way you push it out, it determines whether it's straight or it's a little bit hesitant with the vibrato. Okay, so that was great.
It's great.
You're in control. So if you want it straight, push it out.
Do you want to hear it one more time from us before we leave?
Yes.
Ready?
I love it.
Okay. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Yeah.
And that was the only part of the CD. We're not gonna tell everybody about the CDs coming out.
Wait, I don't know CD.
Yo, la fin ma CD or the CD is called Cash on Deliver, COD. Marina Davis, what a joyful night to have you back on live once again.
Thank you.
And now you're gonna sing that song,
To end
Shania, to end our show tonight.
So am I singing it or is Shania singing it?
You are. You got the
Okay.
most powerful voice.
Okay, beautiful. All right, I'm just getting set up. Sorry, I thought you meant that Shania was going to sing it. So this one's actually, I'm going to sing From This Moment. Okay? I'm going to sing From This Moment. And the thing with From This Moment is that you guys are not allowed to sing along.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, we can't.
You're not allowed to sing along. You guys are going to put me off. I'm just joking.
We're gonna cheers.
From This Moment, karaoke. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. All right. So I want you guys to sing along if you guys know it, but not too loud because I might forget the words. Okay. Here we go. Sorry. Here we go. Tell me if I'm too loud.
You're doing great.
Okay. From this moment, life has begun. From this moment, you are the one right beside you. It's where I belong. From this moment on, from this moment, I have been blessed. I live only for your happiness and for your love. I'd give my last breath. From this moment on, I give my hand to you with all my heart. I can't wait to live my life with you. I can't wait to start. You and I will never be apart. My dreams came true because of you. From this moment, as long as I live, I will love you. I promise you this, there is nothing that I wouldn't give. From this moment on, oh, you're the reason I believe in love, and you're the answer to my prayers from up above. All we need is just the two of us, and my dreams came true because of you. From this moment, as long as I live, I will love you. And I promise you this, there is nothing that I wouldn't give. From this moments, I will love you. As long as I live from this moment, I love Shania.
Yes, that was so wonderful. That is so wonderful. From
Thank
this
you.
moment, we love you too as well. From this moment, we love you, all the fans who are joining us tonight. Thank you for all the following us with our show. And this show was dedicated special just for you, the followers. And don't forget, same time next week, with the one and only Marina Davis. As for now, bye-bye. I'll see you next time. God bless
Thank
you
you.
all.
God bless.
Take care.
Love you guys.
Yeah. Good night. Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Good night, Marina.
Good night.
Pastor, you always say, I love it.
Thank you so much.
Guys, God bless. That was awesome. Pastor, we will keep bringing that. Thank you, Ty.
Yeah, say thank you. Yeah, you say thank you. But you're the best.
Love you guys.
You do the hard
See you
work.
next-
Love you.
Fast report. Love you.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
fast before.
Bye.
Bye.
I know